Well, yeah, that caught me out just as I was trying to share it. Oh, bloody hell. We need a few more seconds on that. But Nigel, yeah, it's shared onto your page, mate. So
Right,
we're
okay.
all good there. Let me just quickly do mine. Okay, lovely. Okay, hello, folks. Well, I don't know what to say, gentlemen. I'm just rumbly thunder and lightning started whilst at Kettering Town yesterday. It ain't stopped. It's still going now. But anyway, Darren, how are you? And how's your week been?
Oh, very well, Gaz. Obviously, as you all know, we all went to Kettering Town yesterday. I'm sure we'll touch on that later.
We will be.
Yeah, but it's just been a bang average week. Haven't seen too much football. Right at the moment, I'm keeping a close eye on the Man City Arsenal game because it looks like it's deep into injury time. But that's probably the only contribution I'll have about Premier League football for this episode.
Yeah. And Nigel, how are you, mate? And what sort of week have you had?
Yeah, I've had a good week. Yeah, my mum turned 90 on Tuesday.
Wow.
So we went out and celebrated her birthday. We had a meal and stuff like that. Yeah, and she's had loads of messages, flowers, all that stuff. So yeah, it's been a good week. And last night at the Grapes, DJing there was another massive night as well. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, wow. Well, bit of a different one this week. Last week was quite an experimental one, really, with our live feed from Kettering Town Football Club. And, well, I suppose we may as well start with our day out yesterday at Kettering Town for the charity day in aid of Team Michaela. And yeah, what a day. What can I say? I was blown away with the club and as always, blown away with the charity. But Darren, you was there doing your vlog, which is absolutely outstanding. And if you want to see or link on to get the link, it's on our platforms on X and on Facebook. So yeah, if you want to watch Darren's vlog, and after the show, we'll be putting out our post, sort of going through the day that we had at Kettering Town. It was absolutely outstanding. Some great interviews and everything. But Darren, your vlog, mate, is something else. You've excelled. You've excelled yourself this one. Best so far, mate. Really, really good.
Oh, thanks.
Can I just say I've changed my background after the stick I got last week. Darren's managed to
I didn't.
Darren hasn't. Persevered, mate. I had wallpaper like that about 30 years ago, I think. Sorry. Sorry, mate. Nick calls on. Hello, Nick. How was your day yesterday, Nick? Let us know. How did you get on? And
2-2.
Is it 2-2 now? Okay, so we moved it to 6:30, thinking that would give us enough time to get to the end of the game. But obviously, a big game and 2-2. So, but yeah, so we were at Kettering Town yesterday. So I'll give you a little bit of a taste of the experience, but you'll be able to watch Darren's vlog and you'll be able to catch up with all our interviews and pictures and whatnot of the day. Obviously, I'm not sure how much money was raised for Michaela, but look, folks, we're gonna really get behind Michaela and her charity. Fantastic, helping the kiddies out with cancer, and she's just so inspirational. I know we went on about it last week and through the week, but she has blown me away. This is a young lady of 18, been suffering with a cancerous brain tumour since the age of 4, and will continue to for the rest of her life. And all she wants to do is give back to other kids that are suffering with cancer. So the links are on our pages. Please donate a little bit towards it. We are going to continue to support that charity as well. So and have links for them. So that's fantastic. Yeah. As for the club, we were treated to a VIP event really there, and we went to hospitality, and it was amazing. And they had a band there who were absolutely fantastic as well. And yeah, the whole day was really, really good. It's such it's so great going to non-league football, isn't it? And that was it. It it was a good standard of football, very enjoyable game. They won 4-1. The crowd were noisy, just short of 1,000 there. I think I've got a little picture I can just show. I think bear with me. I took a little. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more if you keep an eye on our pages. Here we go. So here's a picture of one of the stands behind the goal. Quite a crowd. They were noisy buggers as well. Really well their team. But what a day! But you'll be able to catch up with Darren's vlog and our sort of directory of the day when it comes out after the show. But yeah, what a fantastic day. Darren, your comments on the day out yesterday?
Well, listen, the real reason we were there was for Michaela. So this was the first time I met Michaela, and I was just, we said it all last week, didn't we? But I was literally blown away by meeting her in the flesh. Such a genuine, humble, warm, quiet, shy girl, wasn't she? And the team around her, absolutely lovely people.
Yeah.
They work selflessly, non-profit organisation. Like we've said before, every penny goes for the kids' treats. They're just heroic, aren't they, Gaz? And it's very, very humbling. And that's why it's my favourite vlog that I've ever done. It might not be the best, but it's my favourite one because not the football, it was the cause. And if even just 10 people were suddenly aware of Team Michaela's charity, it's worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And when people watch your vlog, mate, I'm going to tell you now that's the best one so far. The way you've done it and everything, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. But anyway, look, Nick's just come back to me. Apart from the loss, overall fantastic, and all credit to the Wrexham fans. The noise they made was amazing. Now, Nick, hopefully you're still up for Wednesday night, and you'll come on with me and talk all about your day at Wrexham. If you're still up with that, just drop me on here and we'll get in touch and sort that out for Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Folks, that'll be the first one where each Wednesday, hopefully, people will want to come on with me and talk about their experience of football from the previous weekend and where they've been. Half-hour show, nothing long. But we're going to kick off with Nick, I hope. There we go, definitely, mate. So, yeah, Wednesday, 8 o'clock. I want to find a decent name for that. I don't know what to do. But anyway, we'll have a think about that. Damo McDermott just confirming to all City Arsenal. And good
98th
evening.
minute it was. 98th minute.
98th. That's why I put the show back half hour. That's why it's still going on. Because we're now going to play 100 minutes. During the course of that game, gentlemen, while we're on the subject, during the course of that game, this happened, which I have to say, no matter what level of football you play, pretty amazing, really. 100 goals in 105 games. Mr. Haaland. There you go. He's
just hungry for it, mate. He's hungry.
He's on fire, isn't he? Absolutely on fire.
He gets upset when he gets upset when he don't score, and like even all the money that he's earning, he don't care about that. He just cares about scoring. That's what makes him so prolific at the moment.
And he is on fire at the minute, without a doubt. We'll let you know when that game finishes. People remember as well, you can drop a comment, get involved. It's finished. It's over, 2-2. There you go. So that's not going to determine nothing this season, really, is it? There we are. What a waste of time, really. Might as well not bothered playing it and just gone, I'll just share the points. No, but seriously, folks, get involved. Comment, ask, anything you'd want us to discuss. Got any questions?
Thing is, when you talk about a game, Gaz, like Arsenal would have had a big injury to the skipper, haven't they?
Yeah,
he's
they
out
have.
For a while. Player's been sent off today, so he's going to get 2 or 3 games suspension. Like this is where your big squads come in. Is that going to affect Arsenal now? The fact that they're going to probably be without 2 of their main players.
Well,
so, they'll look at this as 2 points lost, whereas City probably thinking we've dug ourselves out of a hole there. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, Arsenal didn't. Arsenal lost the league last season not by their results against the ones around them, but it was the mid and low table, wasn't it? So, Arsenal got a draw at City last season, same today. So, I think Arsenal, obviously, clearly a match and better than most around the top of the table. It's just see what their mentality is like when they're playing these big games where they're meant to be beating the teams at the back end of the season.
Darren, for someone who didn't want to talk about Premier League, you're doing quite well.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, while we're talking, let's keep on the subject of the Premier League. Then we'll move over to probably a little bit more of a morbid section that we will cover. But before we do that, we're talking about Premier League. And let's just give you all an idea of what's going to happen. So we are going to a bit of a memorial section. There's been some losses and some anniversaries of great people in the game of football over the last couple of weeks. So we're going to touch on a little bit of that. We are going to obviously have a run through some of the weekend's results and highlights. But what I would like to talk about right now is this potential, and it never happened, we know that, but the potential that players will go on strike because of the amount of games that's going on. So I'm going to give you my take on all this, and then, guys, we'll hear from you, and we'll hear from you out there. You drop your comments on, and we'll have a discussion. So my take on this, I don't think they would ever go on strike. Here's what I see. The only people that really are going to hit the level of games where you would think, okay, maybe they got a point, is going to be the guys in the top 5 or 6 clubs in this country. The rest of them are playing no more, no less games than what they did when Nigel was playing. Okay, so realistic, well, in actual fact, the Division 1 was as it was then before the Premier League was even a bigger league than what it is today. It's 24 teams. But anyway, or 22, wasn't it? 24 teams on it in the Division 1. Anyway, so the view I have is that this only involves the elite players who play for the biggest money. And I like most people, knowing that these guys are earning £350,000 a week or whatever it is, £1 million a month, right? Because they are going to play, they want to play in the sides that are in Europe. If you're going to play in Europe, then you are going to play a lot more games. Now, at the end of the day, these sides, these 5 or 6 sides, have got enough players to probably win the rest of the league outside of that 6 with 2 teams. So they have the ability to field 2 good sides. So I'm not buying into it. I think the players should, the clubs should manage the game time of the players. And the players, if they don't want to play and they don't want to play, can you hear that?
Yeah, I just see the lightning in the background.
If the players don't want to play that many games, then don't sign for a top club. All right, you're going to earn a little bit less money, but hey, do you know what? You don't have to play all the games. I do think a bit of an emphasis is on the clubs. They do have enough players for these players to be managed correctly. So. Yeah, I just can't buy into it, to be honest. Like, I guess a lot of people, no one has any sympathy for people that are on £1 million a month and then start moaning they're working too hard with beautiful pitches, the beautiful custom-made football boots, the footballs that are as light as a feather. I'm sorry, I can't buy into it. And I think the clubs have a responsibility, though, to manage. So if they want to play in this World Club Cup at the end of the season, manage your team. You've got one solution. Is it 25 you can sign on for the Premier League? Is it 25 players?
You know more about it than us, I think.
Yeah.
You can remind me if no. Okay, yeah. So now I think that's in most leagues, though, isn't it? You can only sign so many players on, can't you? So you have a squad of 25. So here's a simple solution that the FA would maybe like to look at, or the players' union. Why don't, if a team's in Europe, we understand that they're going to play a lot more games, so maybe allow them to have 30 in a squad so that there can be a really big rotation that will take place, and that then they can keep the players, sensibly with their game time. Maybe that's a solution. I don't know. One to think about, maybe. That's me. Over to you then, Darren. What are your thoughts?
Listen, I've never been an elite professional sportsman, so obviously I don't understand the fatigue that they may be showing playing that amount of games a season. But I agree with Simon Jordan from TalkSport. The players always say what they don't want to do, yet they never bring a solution to how they can rectify it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, we don't want to be playing this. We don't want to be playing that. They don't want to take a cut in earnings. So what do they want? What can they bring to the table? Yeah, you never hear anything like that. They've obviously, we've gone from 1 sub to 2 subs to 5 subs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
there was a time when there was no
subs. This is all brought in to protect a bit of player welfare.
Yeah.
And yet it's still not enough, is it? So crack on with playing football.
Sport brats, mate.
Yeah, crack on with getting well paid, and then bring a sensible solution to the table, which people can all discuss and think, yeah, that's fair enough. Until
yeah,
like I say,
a good point. People, please bang your comments up about this, and I'll be reading them out. But before I just hand over to Nigel, what I was going to say there to that is one other thing as well. Like I say, I think I've just given a bit of a solution there, in that maybe allow teams in Europe to have a slightly bigger squad than what they can have now, which means they can rotate players and manage them. But how many of these elite players, if they're put on the bench, are going to cop the ump?
Also,
you
mate,
see
it's not really fair. It's elitism if you allow the European sides to have bigger squads. The Premier League should be like, all for one and one for all, and all abiding by the same rules. So, you can have the
maybe do it for the whole Premier League.
Well, maybe so, but money will talk eventually, when and the bigger teams will clearly have the much better squads. But
then when you, I'm completely on board with you. By the way, I ain't got no time for the Premier League whatsoever. However, you're quite right what you're saying, but these players have become like spoilt children, haven't they? Really, because they want to earn all that money. They're gonna, and they've got squads that are hugely talented. They could play a different squad every week, but obviously, I don't know. Nigel, over to you. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to quickly say, all you hear is that these players don't want to go on strike. Tell us what you do want then.
Yeah, I hear completely hear what you're saying. Yeah, we're not getting any comments on this, folks. So please, you want to have your 2 penneth, please jump in and have your 2 penneth. We're very quiet tonight, folks. It's all about you as well as us. Nigel, then, what are your thoughts? You've played at the very top. You've played in an era when you hadn't even got half of what these new players have got. And I'm not talking about money, obviously, but...
No, it's the game's changed, obviously. Like there's a lot more money involved now. There's a lot more pressure on. Stoke managers just got sacked after 5 games last week, and he won the first 2 of them. So, it's all about delivering. And for me personally, when I played back in my day for Watford, I loved playing 2 games a week. I'd have played 3 games if I could. And at the end of the day, it's 90 minutes football. We used to train longer in a week than we played on a Saturday. So I don't see why players are complaining about it. Burnout and all that lot. I just the bit about expanding the squads again, I'm not really sure how it all works where these clubs are getting fined now for spending too much or something like that. But obviously, like if they allow them to expand the squads, they're going to have to allow them to expand the spending. So that's another point that's going to come in.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with you. But with squads of 25 players, and let's face it, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, they don't buy crap. Even if the player they buy is not in the first 11, he's a good player they're buying. They wouldn't bother buying him otherwise. So they should be able to rotate their squads, like you say, pick out the matches where they think they can rest one or two of their players, give somebody else a chance and blow out. I'm not knocking the teams at the bottom, but they are the sort of games that you're going to be looking at giving some of the big players a rest when you play your teams at the bottom of the league. But it's like I said, there's so much pressure on a team to win the Premier League now, and maybe the managers are just going, I've got to play my best side every week.
No, Nigel, how many games a year do you think you were playing back in the day?
I remember one season I played every game, I think 51 out of 52 games, and the only reason I didn't play the 52 was because I got suspended for 5 bookings, so I missed the Old Trafford match, which I was gutted about. And I think I then played. Yeah, that was our first year in Division 1 as well. And I think I must have played about 5-6 cup games in between all that.
So about 56 games, 57 games.
The year I've played for the under-21s would have added a few more, and it's.
So you played in a season where you've played 60 games.
Yeah,
which is the average game time currently that elite players are playing.
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't have a midweek game, we trained harder that week. On a Wednesday, he'd have the circuit out. We'd do a cross country. He calls it topping up your fitness. So I was quite happy to have 2 games a week. I didn't like the cross countries.
And I'm trying to sort of build a picture up, I guess. So, and then on the other hand as well, football back then was a damn sight rougher, and nowadays players are so very well protected from the rough and tumble that you would have played.
Yeah, I don't know whether you watched any of the highlights from the Brighton Forest match. But
I haven't. I've been really busy this weekend.
Gibbs White got sent off for a tackle. Yeah, it was a rough tackle. And he was complaining, and I could see his point because he got the ball, but he also got the man. But back in our days, that was just a done thing. You just, you got up and you got on with it, or if you needed a trainer on it, he's come on, but you still hobble on. But that wouldn't have been a sending up offence in our day. But
yeah,
you look at that, and then there was a player that made a shocking 2-foot tackle. It was on Match of the Day yesterday. I forget what match it was. But how the referee never sent him off.
Yeah.
It was a 2-foot jump.
You've opened me into something, actually. I'm going to just slightly change it a bit. So, there you go again. Look, it's the press out here. They want to know more about proper football. Someone do me a favour. Just drop me a comment on Weir, because it's very unusual for us not to get lots of comments, and we're not getting any at the moment. We had a few, and then it just stopped. So someone who's watching, please just drop a comment. Just say hello, just so I can know this is working. I'm a little bit not sure. Sorry, so Blackburn, Preston, big derby game today. Just got to show you this now. Yeah, let me just show you this. Hang on a minute. You may already be aware of this. I don't know, but anyway. So I don't know if you quite see that. I'm going to play that again. So the guy biting the guy on the back of the neck. And here's the really weird thing. The guy who bit him got a yellow card. The guy who he bit showed the ref the bite and got sent off. Let's just see that again. I mean, people at home would have got a clearer picture of that, because on here we struggled with that top bit.
I saw it. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Well, I don't get that. Do you?
What sort of human being? Let's straight away. What sort of human being bites to the back of the neck? It's weird. I mean, I've not.
Why did he send him off though?
I don't know.
I'll be honest, I'm not completely sure. So I'm guessing there's something else has gone on, which potentially I'm guessing was a sending off offence.
Yeah.
And then he's tried to show the ref the biting on the neck, and he got a yellow card.
Yeah.
I think if he has bitten the guy, there'd be a suspension coming up for that.
Got to be.
The FA, PFA, that'll go.
Can't
do that.
What did Suarez get? 9 matches or maybe more? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's the precedent set, isn't it?
Yeah, the FA will get involved in that now.
It's just, that's one human on another. You know, let's forget even football. It's just like, why are you biting somebody on the bloody back of the neck? It's just like unfathomable. It really is. Unbelievable.
It's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. Right. Okay. I'm going to unfortunately take the mood down a bit to now, and then we'll move on to have a little look through some of the weekend's football. It's been an interesting week. Well, not interesting. It's been a sad week. We've lost some people who are well known in the game. Let's start with Gary Shaw. Now, Nigel, you played at Villa, but you I think we've already had the discussion. You didn't actually play with Gary at Villa when you were there, but you played against him. I think he took a tumble, didn't he? He fell. It was from a fall.
At home, yes.
At home, dreadful. I remember, good player as well. Yeah, very good
player. I've played against him, but when I moved to Villa, he wasn't there. But I was lucky enough to play with Gordon Cowans at Villa, and he always spoke very highly of Gary Shaw. Because obviously he played with him. But that was a very good Aston Villa side that they were in.
Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, very good.
Yeah, Gary Shaw. Yeah, it's particularly saddening just because around the era when Villa were winning the league and then the European Cup, that's when I was really starting to take interest in football. So I clearly remembered the season that Villa won it. I think they only used 14 players in that championship season, him and Peter Whiff up front. And I remember the match of the day. You know, when they run the opening credits, they had Gary Shaw at the end of it, sort of like wheeling away, celebrating a goal. He's going to be one of them players, when you think back, when you're a certain age, he's almost going to feel like he's forever young, isn't he? You know, the boyish good looks and stuff like that. You know, his career was like troubled by injuries, wasn't it? But he was a great player, wasn't he? And he's going to be a loss, particularly to the Aston Villa fans and, of course, his family.
63 years of age as well. Yeah. You know, it's not really no age really. I was fortunate enough. The year they won the league, they obviously Liverpool were the big rivals because they were the big club then, winning everything. And I was fortunate enough. Me and a friend went up and went to Villa Park and watched the Liverpool Villa game that year. And the weird thing about that is it was probably one of the biggest games of the season, with Villa being the champions against really the top side as it was then. And we didn't go up with tickets. You just paid on the day. It's mad when you think about it. And the ground was rammed, as you can imagine, you know. Oh, mate. But yeah, that's such a shame. And then, of course, there's been today, Cardiff City played Leeds United, and obviously a couple of weeks ago, I think 39 years old, Sol Bamba, played for both clubs, did a really, really good thing pre-match for him. Just got a picture of some of the tributes. There you go. That's the programme. Tribute that they've done. As you can see, Leeds and Cardiff flags and scarves left outside the ground. Fair play to the Leeds fans. And another great loss and another good servant of football. But I think he was 39. Do
you know what, Gaz? He was a really, really good player, wasn't he? But more importantly, by all tributes and that, an even better fella. And you can't praise someone high enough. if they're like that. And
for Cardiff and Leeds to come together the way they did there with tributes, they don't like each other. Let's be honest, the fans, and they come
quite
together.
A guy, mate. We all know how good of a player he was, But like I said, the man himself, and it's tragic, so young.
Yeah, Nigel, another one lost to the football world there.
Yeah, he's 39. I think that's far too early, but it just shows you though that football does bring people together. And like you say, with the Cardiff and Leeds fans with the rivalry, they got everything gets put to one side when something like that happens. And it's not about football anymore. It's about paying tribute to the player and the person that he was. So yeah, it was really good to see that.
And they sacked the Cardiff manager after the game, didn't they? I think Stuart Higgins. Good evening, Stuart. He was just saying.
Like I said, though, Gaz, you don't get a chance.
You'd already said it, and Stuart's just bringing up.
You don't get a chance.
Look at the managerial circus. How many sackings in 5 games?
The Stoke manager got sacked, right? I can understand if he hadn't won a game in 5 games, but they won the first 2. So what the hell they're expecting from managers these days? No. It's ridiculous. The chairmans or the owners that got the clubs, do they actually know anything about football? They've just got the money to buy a club, and they think, "I'll go and do that," and they start interfering with it. And
whatever happened to that old adage? It's not how you start the season; it's how you end it. But yeah, some chairmen are like, they're foreign managers willy nilly, aren't they? As you well know, Gaz, being a Watford fan and ex-Watford player.
Look at Alex Ferguson. He was on the verge of getting sacked, and he didn't only have 5 games. He'd had a whole season, and look, he's turned out to be probably one of the greatest managers of all time, if not the greatest manager.
Arteta himself was under pressure, wasn't he, earlier in his career?
Yeah.
I think Arsenal, like 2 or 3 seasons ago, they were bottom after 2 or 3 games, but the board were like, "No, we know he's our man," and Arsenal are flourishing now, as much as it pains me to say.
Yeah, I quite agree. You can't. They don't expect a player to settle in after 5 games. So how do they expect a manager to, build a team after 5 games?
I do agree with what Stuart's just put. Let me just pop this up. I do agree. I think there is there's a lot of owners out there right now who have got more money than sense, and it's a plaything. There are serious owners as well, but I think there is a lot out there. It's just a toy for them.
Yeah, you've got to question motives. If it's not an owner who's bought the club that he supports, you've got to wonder why they're doing it. It's got to be about their profile, isn't it? A bit of kudos for them. Because I can't think of any other reason why you play a club that you don't support.
This is a serious thunderstorm going on out here, mate. I tell you.
And on top of that, they buy these clubs and they appoint a football director who starts buying players that probably the manager don't want to buy.
Yeah.
It's just all it's stupid at the moment. You'd have to actually be inside one of these clubs and following them around to find out how it actually operates and what's going through their heads. Because, from a fan point of view, he goes and supports his club and they want to win all the time. And they get excited when good players come into the side or get bought. But, if it's football directors buying a player and the manager's thinking, well, he's not going to fit into my way of playing, but they're buying him. So, and then he'll be under pressure to play the player because they've spent a lot of money on him.
Yeah.
And, that's how things go wrong sometimes.
A recipe for disaster, Callie, I reckon, mate.
Yeah, we went a little bit off track there, really, because I was doing my morbid bit, really. But who's the fella who won the Golden Boot? He died this week in 1990.
Yeah, Scalacci, mate. Yeah.
And he was only 53.
No, he's 59, I think.
Oh, was he 59? I thought he was younger than me. But
still no age, isn't it?
Toto.
Yeah, he burst onto the scene, didn't he, in Italia 90. No one outside of Italy had heard of him really before. And then obviously 6 goals later, a Golden Boot and a player of the tournament. Everyone had heard of him. He had his moment in the sun, didn't he? And it was a really crappy World Cup, I have to say, but he was definitely one of more of the memorable images and people at the tournament, wasn't he? And again, a sad loss.
Yeah. I've just got to bring this up as well this week because I'm one of the greatest men in football. And I know Nigel's got a couple of stories about this man, but so I think it was Thursday. We lost this man 20 years ago. He passed, Mr. Nigel Clough. I still think one of the greatest English managers of all time. But yeah, 20 years since we lost him, and he still holds a huge place in so many people's hearts. The tributes are flooded in, and we put a post up, and it just everyone's comments so positive about this guy. I know you never played under him, Nigel, but you played with people who did, who told you quite a few little. And didn't he say something about you once? I think you've mentioned it.
Yeah, he mentioned. I'm not sure it is in the paper or a book, but he said that I would have been a dream player to have playing for him, for the amount of crosses that I used to get in and stuff like that. So I mean, like coming from someone like Brian Clough.
Oh, mate, that's amazing, isn't it? Brian Clough said you would have been a dream player for him to have. Wow. That's just mad.
Yeah, he was definitely a character. I mean, like
massive,
He's loved at Derby, he's loved at Forest, and he's a manager that was never going to be an England manager, but should have been. And the only reason he never made it was because he wasn't a yes man.
Yeah,
Brian Clough was Brian Clough, and it was either you work with him or you don't work with him. But he makes decisions, and unfortunately, the FA don't like managers like that.
No.
Southgate.
No, absolutely. Do you remember when they had that pitch invasion and not? I'm getting worried now.
Where are you broadcasting from? Ukraine.
Fucking hell. It's put me off from stride.
I just want to quickly say about Cloughie. Has there ever been a more charismatic person in football? I personally loved him. He could be a bit of a shit, couldn't he? Some of the things that he said were wrong. Some of the treatment with players was wrong. But, oh, my God, was he so watchable. And he's probably my favourite person ever in football. And I still love watching old interviews of him.
Yeah, brilliant. Sorry, my dog's obviously having a bit of a...
we had
best anyway.
we played Forest when I was at Watford in a cup. And it was 1-0, 1-0.
Sorry.
2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3.
Yeah.
They went 4-3 up. I think we missed a penalty. We ended up losing the game 7-3. It's in a cup match. And we're all sat in the dressing room afterwards, a little bit gay because we've scored 3 goals away from home. We still got thrashed. But just in the middle of the team talk, Brian Clough comes in at the changing rooms and he just pointed his finger and he went, "You're all genuine. You're all genuine." And then he walked out the door.
Callie, a quick question. I don't know if it was Nottingham Forest against Watford, but I've got a funny feeling it was. When Cloughie went on the pitch and dragged the clown off, some geezer was dressed up as a clown.
Yeah, I see that. I don't
Watford.
think it was against us.
Nah, I remember when he gave that Forest fan a right-hander.
Yeah, against my lot
on the pitch.
Yeah.
Clip round the ear hole, mate. What? I mean, this is great. I mean, this guy deserves to be talked about. 20 years since we've lost him, and yeah, one of the most charismatic guys we had in football, without a doubt.
Steve Hodge. I was roommates with Steve Hodge with the under-21s, and he said they'd come in on a Monday, and he'd tell them to go run over and touch the fence in the distance, and in front of the fence there was a load of stinging nettles and everything like that. So they had to run through the stinging nettles, but. They went there, run through the stinging nettles, touched the fence, came back. He went, "Right, I'll see you all Thursday." And it was like his way of saying, like, "Would you go for a bit of pain for me?" And because they all done it, he went, "Well, I'll see you all Thursday."
Oh, brilliant.
So just little things like that,
Yeah.
Hodgie was telling me about him. He sounded like a remarkable manager to play for.
Okay, absolutely, and he's been actually really good. And give us some comments about your thoughts. Anything you'd like to say about Brian Clough? poor Gary Shaw and poor Sol Bamba.
Gaz.
Sven.
Yeah, there was another last week. The footballing world lost another player, goalkeeper, 68, Steve Hardwick. Do you remember him? Oxford.
Right.
Here, he played for Newcastle, 77 to 83. So he was a goalkeeper in Kelly's era. Steve Hardwick, Chesterfield. And he passed away last week at 68. So mustn't forget him.
Yeah. Right. Hang on. I'm going to bring this up now. So I've just got to say, Silvana. Now this gentleman. A really lovely guy, and I've got to say, I caught him out yesterday at Kettering. He's like a pillar there, really, isn't he? And he does so much for them. He's an amazing guy, and I know he's probably embarrassed that I'm flattering him this
Silvano,
way.
by the way.
Yeah, and an amazing guy, and he does so much for Kettering Town Football Club. Brilliant. I am going to say point blank no on that. Do you really think that I'd have a heart attack, mate? Now I'm gonna decline the challenge. I don't know if Darren wants to do it, but I will decline the challenge on health reasons. I will have a heart attack if I try and do that, mate. I don't mind doing it in my car. I think you're gonna have to think up something else, mate.
Getting up them stairs is a marathon for you, isn't it?
I got to, touching on that again. Obviously, with Silvana watching. I mean, I got to say, when you go to a club, and I've been to a few. Darren, you've been to loads of them. And you see them, the work that goes in, the volunteers, and when they're trying to do it right, it's so inspirational. I came away yesterday feeling really good about football, which is not something I've done for a while, if I'm honest. A wonderful owner, absolutely wonderful, and a great team of people. And I guess this is replicated at many, many, many clubs. In the non-league and lower leagues, and I think, like, obviously as you get higher, it becomes more of a business than a community. That's a proper community club. But what I've got a quickly story now, right? You won't believe this, but Nick's back on. So we were in the hospitality yesterday at Kettering, me and Dan and Darren, and we sat at this table, and then the next thing, guy comes in with big gold bling.
Mr. T.
And he was the mayor of Kettering, and he was sitting on our table, right? And he went and sat next to Dan. I wish Dan could come on. He's not been able to come on. I've told him, watch back, because I'm going to rip him. So anyway, Dan's a train driver, which I think a lot of people know that anyway. It's a dirty word at the minute, I know, but he's a train driver. And he's also a Crystal Palace fan. What an awful combination, isn't it, really? A train driver and a Palace fan. So he sat next to the Lord Mayor, or the Mayor of Kent. He's got his big gold bling on. And they're like, who do you support then? And the Mayor went, I support Crystal Palace. Hang on, it gets better. All right, okay. The conversation goes on. It's like, what do you do for, how did you become mayor? What do you do for a living then? I'm a train driver. So I'm sat next to two train drivers that have just had big pay rises, robbed from the pensioners, big gold bling around his neck. No, bless him, he was a good guy. I need
to say, though, Gaz actually snubbed the mayor, because Dan was talking to the mayor. Gaz was talking to me about some future plans about proper football, and he wanted to bring Dan in the conversation. So he just turned to the mayor, and Dan's like, sorry a minute, I just need Dan for a minute to, input to speak to me. And the mayor was like, the mayor was looking at me. So while you were talking to Dan, I just go like that.
Mate, football's more important than mayoral duties. So
exactly.
It was important. I just said, can I borrow Dan for a moment to the mayor? Your Honour, your worshipfulness. I did. No, he was a lovely fella, and he worked for Mind. And that's another thing I just want to mention about what I see at Kettering. They had a stand set up by the people of Mind. and it's so brings a different world into it all. You know, when you see that, and they promote obviously mental health, and football's a good place to do it because probably the worst people, as we all know, are us, the men. You know, we don't want to talk about it. We you know, so again, hats off to Kettering Town for having mind in and setting up a stall in the ground and all that. Well done, well done.
It was great. Great.
Gary, you're doing it all. Gary, you're doing it for all the volunteers in non. I'm not going to have a heart attack for any volunteers in non-league football, mate. Seriously, he's sitting at home now, and he's proper having a giggle.
I'd pay to see you run.
Yeah, mate. It ain't happening, mate. Mate, I cross country when I was at school, mate. I used to hide in the bush and have a fag. You know what I mean? I hated cross country, hated running. You know, long distance, awful. It will never happen, Silvano. I'm so sorry. You're going to have to think.
Can I tell you a story?
Are you up for it?
Can I tell you a story about what happened to us at Watford one day?
Yeah, go on.
With these marathons that you're mentioning now, right? So it was been snowing, and we get told to report to the football club, not the training ground. And we're all sat in the dressing room, the home dressing room, and they're taking their time, the gaffer, Taylor, and the trainers. And we're thinking, they must be trying to get a gym for us to train inside. And they come in after about 20 minutes, and they give each and every one of us a piece of paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to about 15. And the first thing it says is 1 lap of Greyhound pitch, out the gates, up to the top of the road. Second, turn right, go to the end of the road. Third, go up to the top of Castleberry Park. Fourth, go down to the start of the cross country. We ended up doing a 12-mile run. Bloody 12-mile run.
Good.
And the worst thing about it was we couldn't say to Teddy, well, why don't you do it? Because he ran in it, and there was only 6 of them beat Taylor.
Fair play.
12-mile run.
The funny thing is, Fabian at Kettering, I was talking to him yesterday, he's going to come on our show. So he's ex-pro. Now, he played at Watford, and he said he managed.
Cool, that was a big one.
My dog, man. The dog suffers, man. It's not good. You all right, darling? Hey? Love my dog, man. Anyway,
Silvano, about 40 years ago, I would have done.
Yeah. That's thrown me right off. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, Fabian. So Fabian played for Watford, and he managed. He did play. I think he said 1 game under Graham Taylor. That would have obviously been in his second spell.
Yeah.
About late end of 2000. But he knows you. So and obviously knows a lot of the Watford players because obviously played there for a little while. But he's up for coming on the show as well. That would be interesting. He's currently the director of football down there, and obviously the owner said he'd come back on because he was a very interesting guy last week. And
I had a word with the manager as well. Yeah, the manager would come on as well. Lavs, Richard Lavery. He's a great guy. Honestly,
I just want to put it out there as well. Anyone watching from any club, you know, if you want us to come up and promote your club. Oh, come down, come up, go sideways, go this way, whatever. You know, give us a shout. We want to promote clubs. We absolutely do. You know, and stand them. So showcase them even. And so please, do that. Sound to me, Callie has volunteered. Fair play. Sounds to me like you've volunteered, Callie.
Sounds like he's dreaming.
No, fantastic, absolutely brilliant. But okay, let's what we got time wise.
I just got to say, Gaz, I just got to say, old Silvano, giving it the big one on here, but he's a bit camera shy, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but he couldn't get around it yesterday.
Yeah.
I think he's looking to get his own back. That's half the problem. I want to quickly move away from football because I do want. I'm not going to keep the show running too long because my dog's not this bloody storm. So look, I did want to got to touch on this. Did you watch the AJ fight last night? Did you watch it?
Well, you couldn't call it a fight. It was a bit one way, wasn't it?
Mate, wow, he battered him. It absolutely destroyed him, didn't he? And I thought AJ was really poor. You know, everyone has said it, and I said it right from the off. Why are his arms down here and his chin up here? It's like he was like, "Come on, do me, son, do me. I want to get home and cash my paycheck quick. Come on." You know, it was a poor fight from him, but fair play to what's his name again?
Dubois.
Daniel Dubois.
Fair play to him, mate. He did say it was an enjoyable fight. And for those who did watch it, I guess if you didn't get your Oasis tickets, you're thinking, thank God for that now, because that was awful. That was awful, mate. Liam Gallagher, man. What? Oh, man. People must be going, oh, what have I done, man? He just screamed down the mic a few Oasis. I didn't enjoy it.
To be fair to them, like, you know, they might, once they're back together, they've done a few concerts, they'll probably get better. I mean, I watched Elton on his farewell tour.
Yeah.
And at the start, I think it was in Italy or something like that. It was a bit dodgy. And I'm thinking, is his voice starting to go? But when I saw him at Vicarage Road, he was absolutely superb. So I think, like, once they get back into, I'm not a big fan of Oasis, by the way, but I think once they do get back into doing the concerts every night, which it looks like it would be, they'll probably get back into it a bit better. But
yeah, no, absolutely.
They've sold all their tickets now anyway, so the money's in the bank. It's a bit like AJ when he turned up for that match yesterday. You know, whether he wins or not, the money's in the bank, and he just seems to be getting these big paydays, and on the day he don't deliver.
No, it's mad money as well, isn't it? Stuart Higgins, I'm just going to let you know, I didn't pay for it, mate. Trust me, and I haven't got a dodgy stick. My daughter's fella, he paid for it, so I thought, yeah, go on, I'll watch it. I'm glad I did. I quite enjoyed it, to be fair. But just on that, with the big payday, and it's these elite sport. We talk a lot about football elite. It's other sports as well. And I was listening to Talk Sport the other day, and do you know they were saying this organisation are trying to get, I think they need £1 million a year or something to set up a home, 36-bed home to look after ex-boxers that are now having bad illness. And they mentioned one boxer who's obviously needs palatable care and that now. And I couldn't believe, I didn't even know he was still alive. But Joe Bogner mentioned him, you know, and they need £1 million a year, and they've been trying to raise money. And do you know what? They've raised £300,000. And it occurred to me that the likes of Fury, AJ, all of them, these big ones, mate, what did he have? Was it £500 million for one of them fights? Wasn't it? Oh, that's what he demanded.
Good gig if you can get it, isn't it?
It is. But how the hell do these guys who, you know, the likes of Fury, why don't they say, well, all right, look, I'll chuck a couple of million in. Oh, yeah, and I will. And look after the people from their sport. It's crazy. And you know the £300,000 that they would have raised for this cause would have been done by normal, everyday working class people who were putting their hand in their pocket because they love the boxing, who earn, I don't know, £500-600 a week. And you've got these guys taking purses of like millions of pounds and they can't even put their hand in their pocket. It's ludicrous. They all live. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to shut up. Right, listen, folks, I am going to wrap the show up very, very shortly. So if you've got anything you want to chuck it in now, please. AJ was a bad one. Lived on the Merrion estate.
I think he means Meriden. Meriden estate.
Xbox bully. Don't and will not buy into the new so-called success. Yeah, no, I don't buy into it, Stuart. All these people earning silly money when it is what it is. So, but yeah, no. So okay, so someone, I guess Stuart's from what you're from Watford, Nigel.
Meriden was just across the. I lived in Coates Way, and there was a park outside her house. And if you went to the other side of the park, he was virtually at the Meriden estate. So that's where AJ's from.
Right, yeah. Because I know he's quite pally with Troy Deeney, isn't he?
Yeah.
Everyone needs to look after one another. I get that, yeah, absolutely. Just for me, I just don't understand why these multi-billionaires, because that's what they become, can't even help their own, and one day they might need that help. Although I suppose they can afford it to have private help.
Maybe they do help their own, but they don't, publicise it, because it sounds a bit crass, doesn't it? When you're like, when you talk about the charities that you help, instead of just getting on with it, maybe they do help.
Can I just say, Surman's over in Iron Apple. He's one of my friends from Watford. He's a big Watford supporter. But this guy, he's a driving instructor. He teaches German. Him and his wife raise a lot of money for the air ambulance. And I think they're doing a sponsored jump out of a helicopter or a plane or something like that. And so, yeah, well, big up to Surman. He does a lot for charity.
See, now that's a challenge that I would consider, except they probably don't make a parachute big enough.
Michaela did one. Michaela's done a skydive. She was.
I know. Yeah. They wouldn't have me jump out of a plane, would they? They'd need a marquee. I'll have to lose weight if I want to do that. Anyway, look.
They'll have to find a plane to get off the runway with you in it.
Now. I'm allowed to take it out myself. Okay, so I'm going to wrap the show up. We haven't had a chance to go over, so I'm just going to see if you've got any highlights of games over the weekend. Nigel, anything that's a highlight for you? I'll read out. Don't worry, I'll read out the comments that have come up as well. But yeah, any highlights for you this weekend?
Not really. I think the games more or less went how I thought they'd go. I think Forest have had a good result today, 2-2 at Brighton. Like I said, I think this will probably be the first time that Man City have been happy getting a point against Arsenal, because I think if Arsenal would have got the 3 points, that's psychological, those.
Yeah. Darren, anything standing out for you?
No, just yesterday down at Kettering Town, us being involved with Kettering Town team, Michaela, just a wonderful day. Thanks to everyone from the charity and the football club. And just quickly, as you know, I vlogged the match. Well, Kettering's third goal scored by Niall Ranger. It came a bit quick to me because there was a defensive mistake. They gave the ball away. My phone was kind of like down here. So he was bearing in on goal. So I'm thinking, I'm not going to get this in time. So do I try, but look at my phone and not see the goal live or whatever? So I decided to watch the goal live. And then I went like that to film. And I just saw his celebration. Anyway, there's a camera guy next to me called Glenn. He's worked for Lowestoft Town Media.
Yeah.
And I cheaply asked him, is it at all possible, can I have the footage of your goal? This is credit to non-league well. Without hesitation, he said, yeah, of course you can. So we exchanged numbers at the end. And he was good to his word. When he got home last night, he sent me the footage. And that speaks volumes for non-league all helping each other. So I just want to say thank you to Glenn. You're a credit to your football club, mate.
Cool. I'm going to quickly whiz through some the results that seem to highlight me. Obviously, Kettering Town winning 4-1. Watford losing 4-1. Oh, dear, oh me. Leeds getting 2-0 away win at Cardiff. Derby lost 1-0, didn't they, Nigel?
Yeah, Sheffield United.
Yeah. There is a couple here worth mentioning. Northampton getting away win at Huddersfield 3-1. That's a good result for them. Stockport County getting stuffed at home by Leyton Orient 4-1. Again, quite a few 4-1s yesterday, wasn't there? Hollywood Wrexham continue their good form with a 2-1 win over Crawley Town. What else we got? What else we got that's worth a mention? Yeah, Carlisle United, long journey down to Swindon, winning 2-0 there under a new manager as well. Then they've got a new manager.
Mike Williams.
He's your mate, wasn't it? And Nige, who was the ex-manager at Carlisle.
Oh yeah. Forget what his name is now. He's a winger, weren't he?
Yeah.
Paul Simpson. Paul Simpson.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was Paul Simpson.
Do you know what? We done a Q&A with Paul a while back, and this was just before he went to Carlisle as a sort of like a standing manager till they got someone else. It's amazing he's still there.
He was, yeah.
I'm just having a look because I don't want to leave our friends out in Scotland because they had their quarter-final. Celtic getting a 5-2 win today over Falkirk. Rangers getting a 3-0 win over... Who did they play? Bear with me. But they got a 3-0 win anyway. I think Aberdeen went through as well. Just having a look down... let's have a look. National League. I've lost. Eastleigh are doing well, The Spitfires. There's a great story behind their club badge, It's got a Spitfire in it. And I can't remember what it was now. Many years ago, well, not many years ago, I was doing the radio. I had a fan on who came on the radio and he was telling us all about it. I'm going to look into that story for next week. But Eastleigh riding high there, and they got a 4-2 win over Rochdale. So Eastleigh really doing well. And they've got a lovely little ground. I passed it again the other day. It's a lovely little ground just off the M27 there, Eastleigh as well. Really, really nice. Barnet doing well as well. They got a 3-0 win at their derby at Wealdstone. Let's just have another gander. Probably call it a day. I see. You know what? Let's just touch on Northern Ireland and Larne. I think they played Friday night and they got another win. Larne are doing incredibly well out there. Fair play to them. They're only a little club, quite small ground. You drive past it when you're heading to the Ken Ryan ferry, and obviously they're having a little run in Europe as well. The first time that a side from Northern Ireland have made it into the group stages. That's it. So yeah, fair play to them. Any big numbers? So Brackley, that's one of your local clubs. They got a 1-0 win over Marine.
Yeah.
Jeff, who's normally a regular, I don't think he's on tonight, but they had a really good win over Southport, 3-0. This is in National League North, Oxford City. They had a nice 3-0 win there. Nice little 3-3 draw. South Shields v Chorley.
Wow. If Kettering got promoted, yeah, that's the league that they'll probably go into.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it definitely would be.
Yet, but just saying.
Wow, Boreham Wood getting a 6-0 win. Didn't they just sack Ross Jenkins? I think Ross Jenkins was managing money.
Yeah, not
you played Ross Jenkins.
No, not your.
What, Ross from Watford?
Not our Ross Jenkins.
No, it's Jenkins.
Oh, yeah, he's getting on a bit.
Ross Jenkins.
I think Ross is over in Spain, mate. He lives over in Spain.
He was a player, wasn't he? I remember that hat-trick he got against Nottingham Forest in the quarter-final of the Cup. The game after the Southampton one, He got hat-trick.
I was watching the big match Revisited. I don't know if it was yesterday or the week before, and they had a Watford match on, and the cross came in, and the commentator was like, the far post, Jenkins! But it turned out it was Kenny Jackett. So he had to protect himself, yeah.
He's gone quiet, Kenny. What's he doing? Because he's been around the management scene a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's something to do with I think he's an assistant manager or coach at one of the clubs. I'm not sure whether it was Gillingham or it might have been Dover actually. I don't know, but I know Nigel Gibbs has gone over to be the coach of a Greek team.
Has he?
Yeah, he's just gone over to coach one of the Greek sides.
Well, get him on, Kelly.
Here we go. So look,
I'll try and get him.
So, like I say, Boreham Wood getting this is in obviously National League South. There is a couple of ones there. Chippenham Town losing 3-2. Remember the fellow he had come on a few times from Chippenham Town, the financial director. He was an interesting guy. Torquay United, they got a 1-0 draw at St Albans. That's a club who's had a lot of turmoil, bless them. Hopefully they're now coming out of that and fighting their way back. So good to see that. Dalton Wanderers, Mark White character. Oh mate, have you watched some of the podcasts or some of the vlogs that got him, mate? He is a proper character, isn't he?
He doesn't hold back.
He's a massive character. He's probably the Nigel Clough of the non-league, that fella.
Yeah.
I know. I spoke to him, and one of the things he said, he was saying that he wanted to get Dorking, because their story of Dorking Wanderers is absolutely amazing. How they started chipping in £5 each to pay for the pitch. Obviously disgruntled Wimbledon fans as they were then, 22 years ago, or a bit more than that now. I think it was 2000. And they had just playing on a wreck, weren't they? Look at them now; they've done really well. But he was wanting to get a Dorking into the Football League without actually becoming professional. That'd have been something, wouldn't it?
A tough ask, but not impossible.
Right. Look, the thunder seems to have calmed down a bit and my dog's fallen asleep. So I am going to wrap it up, but let's just catch up on a number of things. Savannah, just a big thank you to Proper Football and Darren for visiting Kettering Town yesterday. If you are a fan of football, get these guys to visit your club, as they are great fun and helps raise your club's profile. Thank you very much for that. Key man at Kettering. So, thank you for that as well.
In reply, let's just say Kettering at home on Tuesday night against
Stamford. I'm only 2 minutes away from them, so I might pop along to that. It's quite a big game. I say I might. I actually will. Okay, name these so-called pros that contribute back to society. Forget the Premier League. I don't know, really. We've debated that one long enough now, Stuart, I'm afraid. Suviz, we've done several skydives, but the next is a wing walk. Ooh, nah, fuck that. Nah. Irish, I'm not on tour. Stuart lives in Ireland, doesn't he? I'm not on tour next weekend at Watford Sunderland. No, I'm away as well. Great show, guys. Boo, Wrexham Lowell, gutted for
Remember the 8-0?
Sorry?
Remember the 8-0, Watford 8, Sunderland 0?
Oh, I do. You scored in that too, wasn't it?
I got the first two goals with my head, 2 headers.
Yeah. My biggest memory of that is getting chased up the street by their lads. they came out the ground rather unhappy and decided they want to batter everyone.
Kelly, for running them days.
I know a Sunderland fan.
Oh, yeah, them days.
That was his first game, his first Sunderland game. Yeah, I know a Sunderland fan, and that was his first Sunderland game. 8-0.
I think it was Ali McCoy's first game for Sunderland as well.
Was it?
They could have been 2-0 up, you know.
Sure.
I remember I scored the 2 goals. The first 2 goals, I was actually top goal scorer. And then Luther went on and scored 4 more goals. So, yeah, that's
Nick saying, come down to Crawley, guy. Nick, have a word with your club, mate. With non-league, it is quite simple and straightforward, and we get a reasonable amount. I mean, Saturday we had a huge amount of access, but league clubs are slightly more difficult to do. We're not ground hoppers. Well, I'm not. Sorry, maybe Darren is. We don't look at it as a ground op. We look at it more that we put something together, go to our platforms, similar to a ground, but we rather go a bit more in depth. So yeah, just here we go. Let's get rid of this. Hang on. There's always one. Okay, let's get rid of that. Lovely. Ain't gone away though, but never mind. Ignore that one, please, people. That's a scammer. Right, okay. So, yeah, or I believe it is. If it isn't, then if you want to do things like that, then you better give us some money, mate.
Everything's got a price.
Right, okay, look, yeah, no, we'd love to come down, but like I say, Nick, if you want to have a word or if you've got any contacts at Crawley, we'd love to come down. I know they're a little club, and we'd love to come down and showcase them. But like I say, we find it a bit more difficult trying to get into league clubs and gain the access to interview and stuff like that, as opposed to what we do in non-league. But we'd love to showcase Crawley Town. Of course we would. They're a non-league success story. Okay, last words, Darren.
Yeah, just to quickly going back to yesterday. Dan and I were having a little chat. My team QPR had already played at lunchtime, and his team were playing after the Kettering Town game against Man U on Sky. We got talking, and we was outside watching a band, and it occurred to me that I didn't know QPR's result, and Dan showed no interest in how Palace were getting on. That was reflective on what a wonderful day that we had, but also about how our passion for the professional game has very much waned over the years, and we're preferring to focus on the non-league game. So yeah, it was kind of telling that both our teams.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Was a bit laissez-faire about it.
Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying. Last words from you, then, Nigel.
No, I've just had a great week. Really enjoyed it. Good coming on here with you two guys, and I'll be playing me music a little bit later on.
Yeah, that's it on Mixcloud. Catch Nigel banging tunes. Stafford's #1 DJ, mate. And he'll say no, but he is. He's the one that fills the pub more than any other pub in Stafford because
Stafford's
he's banging tunes, mate. And we are going to pay him a visit.
You've got to come up one night, yeah. Got to come up.
We are coming up. Proper football are going to come up to Stafford, and we'll have our Christmas party there. There we are.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. Nick, he's going to see what he can do, but no promises. No, completely, mate. Don't put yourself too much out of the way. We know how difficult it is with league sides. But Nick, I need to contact you anyway, which I will do shortly. Not today, but and sort out Wednesday night, folks. New show Wednesday, only half an hour, and it's where I'll be joined each week at 8:00 by somebody to give us their experience of a game that they've been to the previous weekend. Okay, so we're going to start off with Nick, and he's going to be talking about a Crawley supporter who travelled to Wrexham and tell us all about what's going on in Hollywood. Right, from me, as always, have a lovely week, have a safe week. Hope your team does whatever it's going to do if it's playing in the week. Good luck to the Poppies on Tuesday night against Stamford. Wonderful club. And that's it from me, and we'll catch everyone next week.
Team Michaela.
Team Michaela, 100%. 100%. Right, okay. As always, I'm not ready for... I've enjoyed tonight, guys. I've actually enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the show. It's been good. Right, okay, we are ready to go. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll catch you all soon. Well, I would if it would come.